Good evening, everyone. Right now, it's 8:32 on Monday, January 17th. Kix is here with a fresh batch of shoes and socks for sale. If footwear is getting thin, if you want to treat yourself to a new bag, be sure to stop by the plaza. Then I'll get back to supporting you and your enjoyment of the island. Alright, here we are back in the Animals of the Crossing. So just what we're doing today, I know we have things coming up in the future. Like, I know we're going to start hopefully working on the basement soon, and I'm sure there's other stuff we have to do as well. But, for today, we're not going to be doing any of that. That'll probably come in the next... Probably starting Wednesday, probably. Oh, we have to check if that's real or not. I don't think it is, but we gotta check. But, today is Wednesday, or today is Monday, but probably we won't be doing anything today. And then I think we're gonna do something different tomorrow. Praise Helix. And then on Wednesday we'll start working on the base again. This time we're working on the house. But yeah, today and tomorrow just aren't gonna be anything. Tonight, I'm starting way later than I normally would, but yeah, that can't be helped sometimes. You know, it happens. But yeah, today's going to be a short, simple day. Tomorrow will probably be a little longer, not by much. But tomorrow we're going to do some other stuff, because there's something else I've been wanting to do that I just haven't gotten around to, and I got to do it soon. I just want to do it soon, so I'm probably going to do it starting tomorrow. We're probably just going to do it tomorrow. I know, I'm just going to say what it is. We're going into my Minecraft world. I talked a while ago about how I was working on a big base in Minecraft, and I kept meaning to show it off once it was done, and it is as close to done as I want it to be. Like, I probably could have done more to it, but I also kind of don't need to. So, I'm, like, good with where I'm at with it, so I'm going to show it off, and I guess we'll see what else is on the realm as well. But that's the plan we'll do, boilerplate Animal Crossing, and we'll go into Minecraft for a little bit. And it was something that I was going to do this weekend, but then, hey, the Captain Toad thing happened, which, that was that was fun. Now I want to play Mario Odyssey. We've done 3D World, we've done Captain Toad. It just makes sense to do, because Captain Toad, at least the remake, now makes it so that, Mario Odyssey is officially a sequel to Captain Toad. And Captain Toad is a sequel. Captain Toad is a sequel to 3D World, and it's a prequel to Mario Odyssey. At least that's how they've retconned it nowadays. It technically worked a little differently, I think, before. I think before it might have been a prequel. But, that's semantics, baby. I forgot to pick up money because of turnips, yeah. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow. I don't know. I have to do some shopping tomorrow as well, like after I get out of class tomorrow. And I'm probably going to be exhausted. I mean, it was actually really nice having a 3-day weekend. I kind of wish I had done more with it, but at the same time, I did watch an entire anime. So, yeah, I guess, I could have done more, but I watched a whole anime. One that I hadn't seen before, I should specify. So, that doesn't happen all that often. Yeah, it's interesting. So, we are going to talk about said anime. But we'll do it... Did I ever talk about that one? I watched one called, Oh, fudge. What was it called? There's a journal here. Oh, God. What was the show I watched? Where I was like, you know what? This is decent, but it's way more perverted than I thought. I think we did. We must have. Hey, Bobbert. Is this your notebook? Oh, good. It is your diary. Okay. Yeah, So I was gonna say, real quick. So we were supposed to get a new Moon Knight trailer tomorrow. Dropped tonight. They just dropped it like 30 minutes ago. I think they dropped it. Yeah, okay, 37 minutes ago. They just dropped it, and I did watch it. It's interesting. I see. The problem is I know nothing about Moon Knight. Like, I know he fights, I want to say werewolves, but other than that, and he's, you know, Egyptian, because that's where his powers come from and whatnot, and I think he's got, like, multiple personality disorder, so I know 3 things about Moon Knight. Again, and I'm pretty sure it's werewolves, because Blade is vampires. So, I know nothing about Moon Knight, so I'm just gonna, it looks interesting, okay? It looks interesting. I know it's going for like a more darker tone, which I know people are excited for. Again, I think there's a good balance between doing a dark and a light tone thing. And, you know, sometimes things just straight up can't find that. But this is Marvel. They've earned my trust, you know. And it comes out the end of March. So that's a ways away, but it's not too long away. And yeah, that's Moon Knight. Yeah, the trailer is interesting. I think we see him beating on a werewolf at the very end of it, which is a scene we had already seen. Like, in the one, like, preview we got. I don't know. I know people, because for as little as I know about Moon Knight, I know people really like Moon Knight. Like, he's like some people's, like, favorite character. I know you can say that about, like, anybody. Like, superheroes are like Pokemon. Everyone is somebody's favorite. You may not think it, but everybody is somebody's favorite. But I do know some people, like, of, like, some, like, comic book people I follow, Moon Knight's, like, their favorite. So, yeah, hopefully it's good. Again, it'll be nice. But I know nothing. But yeah, that got a trailer. So, anime. Yeah, so there was one show, I think we must have talked about it. I don't remember talking about it. But it was, no, we must have. My Sister is Among Them, where it's like this guy is trying to get married, and he has, like, a secret sister, and there's, like, a bunch of different candidates that could be his sister. We must have talked about that. It's a fine show. It was way more perverted than I remember it. Kind of like, you know, and I think the same thing of, like, Rosario and a Vampire. Like, I remember there being, like, some moments, but then upon, like, my most recent rewatch, I was like, oh, I'm not in high school anymore, man. This is way worse. Oh my gosh. Does it make the show worse? I don't know. I have very complicated feelings on ecchi anime. I really do. Now that I'm like now that I'm no longer a teenager in high school, I have way more complicated feelings on it. And I don't want to outright dismiss anything, but yeah, we must have talked about that, because, ooh, shit, that's too big. Yeah, I didn't expect it to go on the head. I was gonna keep going with it. Whatever. Honestly, we can start selling these snowflakes. But the anime I did want, so, while we're talking, so, part of the reason I'm talking anime is because, so I had an anime list, like a list of every show I'd watched, and it was a Google Doc. It was, yeah, I had it on Google Docs, so that way I could do it on my phone.
Sorry, I don't understand.
That scared the shit out of me. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I had it as like a document. And, I just had a list of everything I've been watching. And I've been keeping it, because, like, I know my anime list does things. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather just have my own list. But it's a mess. My doc was a mess. So I was like, okay, I need to go in and I need to, not format it, but I need to, like, organize it. And I'm one of those, you know, like, have you ever taken, like, a technology class? And it's like, oh, you can get this special certificate that says you're trained in Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint and Google Docs and whatnot. Have you heard of that? Have you ever taken, like, a college class or even probably a high school class that talks about that certificate? Yeah, I have that certificate, so I know how to use Excel. And, you know, I've recently been, like, instead of, like, making Word documents that just have all the information in it, I like to make Google Docs, not forever, or I like to make Excel sheets. Not for everything, mind you, But for certain things, I like to make Excel sheets, or I think they're just called sheets. But I think they have their usefulness, right? So I was like, you know, I'm gonna take my anime list and take it from a Word document and put it in a spreadsheet. I have so many shows on that list, and I was just counting like, okay, here's every show I've watched. I had 3 categories of things: shows I've watched, shows I haven't watched, and I made a 3rd category that was shows I've watched, but since I've watched them, they have gotten new seasons. So, like, at the time, I finished it, but since then they've added, like, they've got another season or whatnot. So while I completed it at the time, I have no longer completed it. There's only, I think, like, 10 shows that add into that list, and that also includes shows that are still, like, airing to this day. Yeah, it was fake. I knew it was fake. That includes shows that, like Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is the specific one. Fairy Tail is still releasing new episodes all the time, as far as I know. As far as I know, Fairy Tail hasn't ended, and I'm not caught up at all, but there was a point where I was. So I put Fairy Tail on there. I've never seen the big... Same thing with the Pokemon anime. I was caught up with the Pokemon anime until, like, the newest season, because I saw the Sun and Moon anime, but I haven't seen the new one, so I put that on there. It shows like Yu-Gi-Oh's another one. I saw the original series. I saw the original series of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, which was the one at the dueling school, and 5Ds, which was the racing one. I've seen all 3 of those. So, like, that one, I'm like, yeah, I've seen those, and I've more or less seen all of it. Like, it gets a little muddied there, but, like, so that's kind of like my middle category. Or, you know, shows that I watched, but yeah, have since got another season. Attack on Titan. I've seen Attack on Titan. It has since got more seasons, and I'm not caught up with it. Food Wars. I've seen the first, like, 2 or 3 seasons of Food Wars, and since then, I think it's got another season, and I haven't seen that yet. Konosuba? It was Konosuba, right? I think it was Konosuba. Yeah, Konosuba. I saw, like, the first season or 2, and there's something I'm missing in there. Maybe I just saw the first season, and I know, the second season's been out for so long that you could probably count it as, you haven't actually seen it because the second season's been out for like 4 years. And yeah, that's probably true. My Hero Academia is another one. I've seen the first like 3 seasons, and I haven't seen anything since then. And I haven't seen any of the movies. So yeah, I just felt like, I could put those in one category. Like, I could put those in never watched, but it's not true that I never watched them. Okay. And I know there's probably like a dozen other shows that I've like seen some ways to completion. Like that Spider one, the So I'm a Spider, So What? I've seen the first like, I want to say like 18 episodes. Something along those lines. But it at the time, I was like all caught up. And since then, it has finished airing, but I haven't actually seen how it ended yet. Like, I don't know how that Spider, So I'm a Spider, So What, ends. I haven't seen the last, like, I think it's like 6 episodes. So, yeah, and I just marked that as not watched. But yeah, I ordered my entire list. I found a duplicate. Every once in a while, I will find a show that I have a duplicate that somehow made it onto the list twice. It's only happened like, I think 5 times total. But it, like, even though the point of the list is to like stop that from happening, it mostly, the main times it's happened is when I have a show in its Japanese title, and then I get recommended to it in its English title. So I'll have both the Japanese and the English on there. And then sometimes, like the one I just found by looking at it was, I think it was called Hanenbo? Hanenbo? Hanbado, maybe? Hanbado? It's a sports anime about badminton. Really, actually, kind of compelling. Really good. I saw it like 2 years ago or something like that. Pretty good. And somehow I had it on there twice, and I had no idea how. This is the exact same one we have. It's literally, this is the left side. Oh, this is the right again, I'm pretty sure this is fake. I'm like 80% sure this is fake. Right side. Oh, we must have already trashed it. Whatever, I'm pretty sure that's what we already have. No wonder, he probably just picked it out of our trash and is trying to resell it to us again. But yeah, somehow I had that on there twice, and I had it so close together. They were, like, within, like, 20 slots of each other. So how I had it on there twice without realizing it, for probably, like, a year or two, I have no idea. But yeah, it's a big list, but I'm not gonna show the list because I don't want to, and I'm not gonna say how many shows I've completed. I will say, because I usually just watch stuff on like Crunchyroll or whatever, and I've completed like 100 shows. I'll say that it's a lot. And now, admittedly, most of them are like 10 episodes, 12 episodes. I mean, I don't watch like Gintama or, I don't watch like those long shows. Gintama, Bleach, Naruto. The big four: Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball. Never seen any of those. Not Inuyasha, not, God, I know there's other super long stuff. No. I think the longest thing I have seen is Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail, and then there's like a few other shows that, oh god, is Mira Nikki? No, Mira Nikki's only like, for some reason in my head, Mira Nikki's like 50 episodes. No, it's probably only like 24. There is something I've seen that was like 50 episodes, or maybe like 48 or something like that. That was just like a single season thing. But I don't watch long shows. Everything I watched, and I've been doing this since 2014. So this list is what, 8 years old this year? It's an 8-year-old list. Yeah, for an 8-year-old list, I've seen like 100 shows. And again, most of them are 12 episodes. I feel like I have to specify that. I've already talked about one of my favorites, Fruit Baskets. Fruit Baskets is one of my favorites. I don't like to ever actually get into my favorites because I don't know. It always feels weird to me, and especially because I don't have a singular favorite. But if I ever had anything specific, it'd be Fruit Baskets. Yeah, I've seen a lot of good stuff on, like, getting through this list again and making sure I have everything marked, and I probably missed something. I've seen a lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff I really enjoyed. I've seen some bad stuff, sure. Nothing. I think the worst thing I have on here is that I actually like watched, because there were some shows I was just told straight up to avoid. The worst thing on here that I have actually sat down and watched is, I know some people would say it's Sword Art Online. No, it's not. Sword Art Online is fine. I have no problem with Sword Art Online. I actually kind of enjoy it. There's another show where at the time I had completed it, I'd seen the first 2 seasons, and I think there's been a 3rd season since then. But, no, it's probably Handshakers. Handshakers was like basically they were like bound at that, like they had to constantly be shaking each other, and they would participate in like supernatural battles and whatnot, and it was fucking terrible. God, it was so bad. But yeah, that's probably the worst thing I've seen. Because again, because you only have so much time. It's kind of like bad video games. A good or bad video game costs you $60. You can't always afford to. I can't really afford to waste my money. And with anime, I don't really want to waste my time. Oh, let's just go bigger. It's probably not. Oh, wow. It's really hard. This game is really weird. It almost always feels like it goes bigger. Okay, we play a game. Let's get out of here. Oh, yeah, KK Island. But the one I watched today, and it was kind of an isekai. Like you'd see it, and like even though it doesn't have a character dying and being reincarnated in another world, it basically has all the tenets of an isekai. and it was called Beaufry? Is that how you... I guess you'd pronounce that Beaufry. Colon, or... Yeah, Beaufry, colon, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Right away, that should tell you, oh, it's got one of those stupid long titles. It's probably an isekai. It's actually not an isekai, because, like, the character doesn't die. Instead, it's just about a girl who, it was Maple, I think is the name she went by, who is just playing a video game, like a Sword Art Online style virtual reality video game. They're not stuck in the video game. That's important. They go out, there's a few segments in, like, the real world where they're talking to their friend. Would I compare it more to something like Excel World or something like that? Probably. Didn't Excel World get another season as well? Oh, that's probably one I should watch the second season of. But yeah, so it's basically this character in, like, they're talking to their friend, and it's like, oh, there's this new, like, virtual reality video game. We should play it together. So they get it, and when building their character, they just put all their points into vitality. So basically to max out their defense. And this and somehow through, like, that, through putting all their points into defense, and getting, like, some special skills, because, you know, they're the isekai protagonist, so they get, like, super special rare skills. They become, like, unhurtable. Like, okay, I don't want to say that. They don't become unhurtable. They never die in the show, which I am kind of disappointed that doesn't happen. But, you know, they basically get immune from damage for a while. But, like, and it's like, oh, well, okay, you have them, and they've, like, created a broken character. And then you've got the friend who you find out is, like, a professional video game player. Like, they've won tournaments and whatnot. And it's like, oh, the obvious plot point here is that the friend becomes jealous that the protagonist made, like, somehow a broken character and, like, grows to, like, resent her or whatever. Nope. Instead, the friend is just as overpowered as the hero. That's interesting. Another thing I found interesting is because they're playing a video game, there are developers working on the video game. And occasionally we do see stuff from the developers. It's mostly, like, occasionally we see the developers' perspectives. It's all pointless, and it brings almost nothing to the show. It's like the Monitors, where it's like, we should do something, and then they just never do. But in, like, the third or fourth episode, after the main character comes in, like, third place in a tournament, they nerf the protagonist. Because, you know, it's a video game, and they don't want the protagonist to be too overpowered. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It kind of comes into play, like, they limit it so the protagonist can only do, like, 10, like, special attacks per day. Which is, you know, it's an attempt to nerf them, and it kind of comes into play, it kind of doesn't. But, yeah, yes, while this is a show about, like, your overpowered isekai protagonist, it really is just about friends playing video games. That's kind of what I liked about it, is it's about these two main characters who both become OP. Like, the friend becomes just as OP as the hero. And, like, they both just destroy. And, like, they form, like, a guild and compete in tournaments. And, like, the one thing I wish they had done more with is the antagonizing characters. Like, the character who's set up as the villain of the show, you don't actually see his face until, like, episode 11. Or maybe even episode 10. And then the show ends, like, 2 or 3 episodes later, right? It ends on 12th episode. So you see him, you don't actually see his face until the very end. But I think he was interesting because I liked his attitude of being like, oh, well, the hero's like, he's like the one person who's aware, like, oh, the hero, like, everyone knows the hero's powerful, but he's the one person who's, like, worried about it. And I was kind of waiting for the twist that he was, like, actually, like, a developer on the game or whatever. Because they talk about how, like, oh, well, everyone else is level, like, 30. He's level 60. So he's, like, super OP. He's that one guy from the South Park episode. You know the one I'm talking about. So I was, like, waiting for that twist or something, and that never comes. But instead, he takes an interesting stand to the protagonist, where, oh, the protagonist is basically someone who button mashes and always wins, and he's like, no, there's got to be a way to overcome this. But he's a very good sport about it. Like, he's very, like, yeah, no, we can do this. We're strong enough as a guild. We've got this. Like, I think that's very interesting. And then there's the other kind of antagonist, Mai, who leads another guild, because the whole thing ends with like a guild wars. And Mai is interesting because like everyone's like, oh, Mai is so strong, she's so charismatic, everybody loves her. And then after the friend beats her or gets away, you find out she's actually like a crybaby who puts on a brave face to lead her troops and whatnot. And she actually the hero kind of helps her out at the end in order to help stop the villain who's called like Pain or something. And I was like, that's interesting. I liked Mai is like, we don't get nearly enough time with her. But I like the idea of like she's a crybaby who puts on a brave face because she knows everyone's counting on her. And we see her cohorts, of which like there's a priest and like a trap setter. And like the head guy has a few like a healer, mage something, like an assassin and like a big axe wielder. Like we've got these little guilds with like their important characters, and I'm like, these are interesting. I kind of like in a longer show I would like to spend more time with them. Especially because at the end, it establishes that they all kind of become friends. Like, they're still on rival guilds, but it's become, like, a friendly rivalry. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I kind of like that. So, to that end, I like where the show ends. Like, I feel like there's potential here. And yeah, I don't... Because while the hero is OP, she does almost lose to... I think it would have been more interesting if she lost to Pain. Like, that just would have made for a more interesting show. Because there are a few points where she does basically almost lose. She doesn't, because, like, the developers at one point, like, put a boss in the game that's supposed to be so OP that they couldn't, like, that the hero, like, nobody should be able to kill it. And somehow the hero does. We're just going to sell these snowflakes. I don't need them anymore. We're also going to sell KK Island. But yeah, the developers like put a boss in the game that nobody's supposed to be able to beat, and the hero and friend managed to do it. And it's like, oh, okay. Again, it's more of yes, the hero is OP, and like the hero becomes an angel. She becomes a demon. Like she gets the ability to transform into like this giant demonic monster. That was a little stretch too far for me. And then I think that was the moment where I was like, you know, she's an angel. I like that. Especially because her angel ability plays into her defense. Because she can use her, like, angel power to defend everyone else on her team. That's good. Her becoming a demon, I mean, like, the supportive skill was fine. Because it, like, allows her... Because she, like... Oh, God, there's a weird thing where she eats some monsters occasionally. Like, I've seen other like that spider show. I remember her eating the monsters to gain their powers. The protagonist in this show does it as well for some stupid reason, and she gains the ability to use Hydra. She gains she gains the ability to become a demon by eating it from the inside out. It's really weird. Like, that's something that's just weird about the show. But yeah, and then they get to, like, the third level, and it's like a steampunk town. But she then meets the Clockwork God and basically gets, like, a robot mech suit from him to defeat, like, the evil Clockwork God. And I was like, okay, this is one step too far for me. Her becoming an angel, I actually really liked that. I think that makes sense with, like, how OP she already is. Her becoming a demon made a little less sense. This her, like, getting a robot suit that she can, like, fly around in and whatnot. No, that's too far. Like, she's got a pet turtle that she can make giant and fly around on, and that's actually really cute. I mean, yeah, her becoming a demon, or like getting a giant robot suit, I did not care for that at all. Again, is this a good show? Probably not. Is this the worst isekai I've ever seen? Oh, not by a long shot. Nope. If you can, you know what? I was invested enough. Again, there's an old saying about, like, what's worse? Being bad or being boring? And a lot of people will say being boring is worse. And I see where they're coming from, and in many cases I do agree. But, like, the worst thing I could call this show is boring. I wouldn't call it bad. But, because, you know, people say, well, oh, at least if a show is bad, it made me feel something. Whereas a boring show makes you feel nothing. And I don't know, I guess I felt something. I mean, I think part of the show that's like, oh, it's just two friends playing video games together. Like there's the second event, they're just like wandering the countryside looking for like special medals on like a treasure hunt sort of thing. And they meet a bunch of characters along the way. I'm like, "Oh, this is kind of fun, right? It's just like two friends hanging out playing video games." I do wonder how time works in this world. Cuz like is it like a Minecraft day? Where every 24 minutes is like a full Minecraft day, you know, 12 days, 12 hours day, 12-hour night. Or, because, like, they talk about how, like, hours pass in the real world, but 7 days pass in the video game. So that makes no sense to me. But other than that, what's a laser avoid? Oh. Okay, that was not what I was expecting. But yeah, again, technically this isn't an isekai, but it gives off those vibes, and it even has the title of an isekai. But I thought it was... Would I recommend it? I don't know, probably not. But I also didn't hate it. Like, yeah, I've seen far worse, specifically from the isekai genre. I don't know, there are some elements that remind me of that one show, oh god, I always forget what it's called. But where she's a NEET who just plays video games all day, and it's a romance story where she like over the course she like meets a guy and falls in love. Yeah, some elements of this show remind me of that. Not all of them, not very few, because again that show is way better, and that's like one of my favorite animes as well. I always forget its name. That show is way better, but there's like one or two elements in here where I'm like, yeah, no, it kind of hits that same itch. Again, I kind of wish the protagonist lost. Like, especially at the end where she fights the guy, Pain, or... His name's like Pain or Pride or something like that. When she fights him, I kind of wish she had lost. Because she instead just busts out her demon abilities and wins. But I'm like, it would have been way more interesting if she lost. Like, that would... Because there are points where she gets close to losing. There, when she fights that unbeatable boss by the developers... Ooh, that's interesting. We'll come back for that. So, I know I said I wasn't doing much today, and we still aren't. Oh, we should head to work real quick. I was thinking maybe we take down Snurch tonight. And we just sell all these snails and just put all the rest of the stuff away. I think that's what we're going to do, but I'm going to go head to work real quick to grab our bottle and see if anything's there. Maybe we'll do that instead if anything's going on, but maybe we'll just destroy Snurch. It's not too big of a deal. But yeah, I thought it was a fine show. Again, is it good? I don't know, probably not, but it's not the worst. But yeah, there's so many, like, I knew I had a lot of shows on my list, and I knew I'd seen a lot of stuff as well, but, like, actually getting, like, having just a Word document doesn't actually, like, I don't think that's a good indication of what I've actually watched. Having it in an Excel spreadsheet is a good visual indicator. Because I did add some, because as well as, like, keeping track of what I've watched, I've also added good, like, color coding. Like, I've color-coded everything that I've watched. And now, admittedly, the stuff I haven't watched, I just left white. But anything I had watched, I turned to green. And, like, being able to visually see, like, where the gaps are is way more interesting. Like, so I'll tell you, I've said there's over 100 things on the list. Of the first 100, I've only seen half of them. The stuff that has been on the list probably since the list was created in like May of 2014. There has been some stuff that have been on this list that entire time that I have never seen. Of the first 100 shows, I've only finished 50. Little over 50, but yeah. And again, there are some stuff that, like, eventually at one point I added Pokemon, at another point I added another thing. Oh, they're building up towards another festival. Like, we've already got those out. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't see the bottle anywheres. We didn't stop by already and grab the bottle, did we? But yeah, for everything I've seen, there's like So much, and I've definitely seen less than half of the list. That's important to say. I've seen less than half. But it's definitely interesting to think about. Oh, there it is. It's at the very top corner. Hey, Dominic Toretto. I didn't see anybody that interested me. So let's go destroy the Snurch. Oh, we already had that. Yeah, it's interesting. And there's still there are so many things to watch. So many interesting shows. Like, I've already been, like, there's the show, like, My Dress Up Doll or something like that. That's airing, like, this season. Like, it's something new this season that I've been, like, a bunch of people are on my, like, Twitter timeline are, like, super, I don't remember what it's called. Not my For You page, that's, whatever, my Twitter, whatever it's called, are, like, super excited about. Because I guess the manga's, like, really good or whatever. I know nothing about it. So yeah, but that's because I still have the original list. I've just made a copy of it and moved it over. I added a few new things to it as well, and this is one of the. And right, that was one of them because I know people who are really excited for that. And then I gotta go back and finish My Hero Academia at some point. I know I do. It's just so much work. Again, I've said it before. I just didn't like Mirio. That was my problem. I just didn't like Mirio, and once they, and like I just wasn't into him. And while I think the show eventually, like based on what happened to him, I have a good idea of what happens with him probably, but I just didn't like him. So that was kind of where I stopped at the time, and I haven't seen anything since. Like that was, I don't know, probably like 4 years ago. I don't know, there's so much I need to watch, so much I need to read. Like, I wanna finish Quintessential Quintuplets. Like, I don't remember where I left off, but I wanna finish it. Because I was making decent progress. And then I just put it down, and I never picked it back up. And I'm pretty sure I know how that show ends. Like, I think somebody spoiled me for it. I'm not going to say anything other than that. But, and then I got a slot in this stupid list I now have to fill. Since I'd actually, since I had a duplicate, and there might be another duplicate in here that I just missed. But since I had a duplicate, I now have a slot I need to fill. And again, this has happened like 4 or 5 times. I think I had Love Live School Idol Project on here twice. And I know it's happened a few other times. Those are the only 2 I remember. Or that's the only one I remember is Love Live. I'm sure I had other stuff. Or maybe it wasn't Love Live. Maybe it was My High School Romantic Comedy Snafu. It was one of the 2 that I had onto there twice. And then I realized and took one off. I usually take off the second instance. How it happens, again, I don't know. And I'm sure just right now there's a duplicate in here, but it's so hard to check. It is so hard to check for duplicates on this thing. Because, again, I don't speak Japanese. So... And I'm not going to go through and, like, usually, like, a show, I can usually tell what it is. We're just going to sell all these snails. I don't need them. I can usually tell what it is based on, like, just looking at, like, a picture of it. Especially if I've seen it before. But if I haven't... Yeah, I can usually tell what something is with one exception. There's, like, one isekai that no matter how hard I, like, look at it, I can't tell you... I couldn't tell you what it was, and I couldn't tell you if I've already seen it. Like, I'm pretty sure I have seen it, but there's a not less than 0 chance that I started it and just never finished it. and I never marked it. And I never marked it down because I never finished it. But I did finish it, actually, and I just didn't mark it down that I finished it. And I couldn't even tell you the name of it right now. God, looking at all this stuff, like, what the shit? Like, what the heck is this? Like, what? Okay, I remember what this one is. Oh, God, that show was also fucking terrible. Ooh. Oh, yeah, that one was also pretty bad. But I think it was only 3 episodes, so... You know, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like, it could have been worse. But yeah, that's some... Like, I reorganized the list, yesterday. And that was just kind of like... And then I started a new anime, and I finished it. Again, 12 episodes. That was easy to do in like 2 days. Yeah, I was able to do that. I need to watch that one. That's one that wouldn't surprise me if it was on here twice. How is that one's? And then there are some shows where I'm like, oh wow, that's so early on the list. And then there are other shows where I'm like, my gosh, how is that so late on the list as well? Like, it really surprises me. Let's check turnip prices. 88. That's either fluctuating or, the other thing. That's either fluctuating or large and or small spike. Turnip prices. Where the heck are my turnip prices? Oh, and I think I know the next show I'm going to start as well. Again, we'll talk about it once I finished it, which will probably be in a day or two. Probably later in the week, actually, but... I don't know. It was nice to have a day off. You know, not have to worry about school or anything. You just kind of relax and watch some anime. Because, again, I like... Because a lot of this, like a lot of these shows I've seen all happened, like, years ago. And now I just, like, I don't watch that much new stuff, or if I do, I get, like, 3 new things per year. Like I said, last year I think I watched probably, like, 1 show a month. I had so much more free time in high school. But that's how it goes. What the heck is this one? I'm kind of curious. Okay. Just picking a random one off the list that I don't recognize. Oh, fuck. You know what? I think not only do I know what this is, but we talked about it on stream once. Oh, fuck. Yep. So I just picked a random thing off the list, and it was called Sugimomo. We talked about that on stream before. I think in the stream archive for season 1 of the show, there's an episode called, like, Anime is Weird or something like that, where we talk about the show Sugimomo. Oh my gosh. The coincidences that me just picking something at random would land me on that. And also with the list this big, I can literally just pull up a random number generator and be like, spit out a show and see what it gives me. Of course, I hate random number generators. Because with a list this big, it's like, oh, I should never get the same thing twice. I literally pulled up a random number generator, and it spit out the same number, like, 2 times. I think it spit out, 73? It spit out 73, which I hadn't seen 2 times in a row. Did not watch 73, even though I probably should. Whatever. But yeah, not twice in a row, but, like, I did it... And then, like, 2 shuffles later, it spit out 73 again. And I was like, what? What is the chances of that? Probably not insignificant, but it was just weird that it happened twice. So, yeah, we went on a little longer than I expected. Whatever. You know, anime. I'm definitely not as... I think I mentioned the other day, like, when I'm watching the Actually episode about anime, I did better than I thought, but I've also never seen anything in, like, the big 3 before. So I always kind of underestimate, like, how well I'd actually do. But I've seen over 100 shows. Which, I mean, technically that's not a lot, because, like, stuff comes out all the time. And, again, there's, like, 20 years of anime. And that's just, like, not 20 years. I mean, there's probably closer to, like, 40 of, like, mainstream anime. Again, what's the joke in, not Ultimate Otaku Teacher, He was raised by a copy of Ninja Scroll on VHS, and that was in the 90s. Again, I'm a modern fan, but I've seen some stuff. I've seen some old school stuff, some stuff I really enjoy. Some stuff I think is older than it is, and some stuff I'm surprised to find out isn't as old as I thought. The one show about the robot, for some reason I always think that's really old, but I think it's only like, it's like 2011 or something. Which I know is over a decade ago now, but it kind of surprises me. Don't remember what that show's called. It's the one about the robot. Oh gosh, what is that called? Doesn't matter. Yeah, that's where we're ending off for today. Yeah, I'm not going to show the list, because even though I could, like, there's nothing, like, there's no, like, personal information on it. Oh, fuck, I've seen that one. Why isn't this one marked? I did actually watch this one. Again, sometimes I just forget to mark stuff. Like, on the original list, sometimes I just forgot to mark stuff. I was actually wondering if that one was marked. No, I had seen that one. Yeah, I'm not going to show it. But I've seen a lot. I have seen a lot. Also, I think I've said this before, but subs or dubs, doesn't matter. Do whichever one makes you happy. I've heard compelling arguments for both. Do whatever makes you happy. With that, yeah, that's where I knew today was going to be a shorter day regardless. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll go into Minecraft, and I'll show off my Minecraft base that I worked on for this new update. And then after that, I guess we'll start working on the basement. I cleared out Snurch because I've been meaning to tonight. We'll work on that as well. I think I'm going to go with the obvious answer just because I can do it. I don't love it, but, you know, it'll be fine. Again, we've kind of done, like, a more modern, like, we're not a city, but I've never been like, oh, let's do, like, rustic village. Let's do, like, old school French castle or whatever. Or old school, like, Japanese, palace. No, I've just been like, here's a city, here's the residential district. I played it like you would play like Sim City or City Skylines, right? That's just me. But yeah, that's where we're gonna end off, so I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.